Hey there everyone, Ninpulk here. So I made a any percent with flight tutorial back when it was called No Flight Skip for console, and the tutorial was rather outdated for quite some time. Um, so I'm gonna make another tutorial right here live. So if any messages come in while I'm making it, I will read chat and respond to that. Um, and there might be some follow notifications or donations or whatever where my face is right there. So bear with me if those happen. Um, First thing you want to do, obviously, skip the cutscene and just get to Trouser as fast as you can to learn Tail Twirl. Obviously, you'll want to learn Tail Twirl because it'll be good for certain platforming and movement, and you need it to beat well, you don't need it to beat the final boss, but if you want to have like a somewhat decent time, you're going to want that move. It's one of the most used moves. So what I'll mention right here, we don't need any quills in the run. First thing you'll do, if you are on Switch, you could do this and get up here right over the gate, and then there's a health extender over there if you want to get it. It's like 5-10 seconds out of the way. Gives you safety for the final boss and a clip that you'll be doing later. So that's for Switch only because of the way the geometry is. I'm going to show you what you do. So normally you would head over this way if you're playing on PS4 and Xbox One. I want to mention that pretty much almost any of the routing is different on PC. So if you're running on PC, most of these tricks will not work. And I recommend looking at the route on the thing. So that's what you got to do if you're on Xbox One or PC. So I'll go through that a little slower. So first you would get up to this spot. You can jump on the barrels or jump on the crate. Get this way. You want to double jump to land on this. And get on this branch. You want to make sure you land on the branch, so if you need to take it slow, that's something you do. And then get on here, aim for this lower part. And now I should mention, if you are playing on the Switch version, which is the fastest version, and probably the most popular console version, you just do this. A lot easier. Okay, so what I should mention, if you want, like that little hole right down there is a cutscene that will take about 8 seconds or 7 or well, basically this trick I'm going to be doing saves about 10 seconds. So I'm going to show it. So if you get up on this bush, this is where we're going to get into something called pause clipping. I'll only get to show this one once because it'll bring me to the cutscene if I try to go back. But this trick, well, actually I might go through the cutscene just to show you guys how long it is. But this trick right here, you just gotta do that, and if you're lucky, you can land on that. But I'll do it again and show you. This is how long the cutscene is. You hold X to speed up text. So you'd be saving all this time if you just do that thing, and you could land right on the thing. So I'm going to show you, if you want to go back to practice the trick, when you're like just doing a run through of the run, go up here, which is something you would normally need roll for, but you know, we're professionals. So, you know, we get over here. I should mention air attack right now is our current fastest way of movement. So you want to do that, but if you're good, you can actually land on this spot right here, and that'll be useful in a second. But what you want to do if you land down here is well, you can do a jump right here. What I recommend is say you fall down here, jump here, and then jump up to this. This is the safest way. And you'll do a tail twirl double jump attack, and that'll skip a cutscene trigger where Dr. Quack tells us to go away. So yeah, while this is all going on, because this is going to be like a dialogue and a cutscene that we're going to speed up and skip. Basically right now, Trouser's going to tell us to get a pagey so he can teach us a move. It's up on top of that statue, which we want to get it as fast as possible, so I'll show that way in a second. But like I said, if you're playing on PC, you'll have to take a different route that I recommend finding on the speedrun.com. I don't know if there's a video for it, but just look at the world record if you have to. But what I did there, I'm going to do it again. Tail twirled there, because as you saw, tail twirl is like sort of a Donkey Kong Country thing, where you can jump out of it. And then we land in the middle of his thing, and then go on his arm, and then we can just jump up his arm, get the pagey. Now, one thing I should mention, if you're on PC, which, like I said, this tutorial is not for PC, so I recommend trying to find something else if you're running on PC. When you get that pagey on PC, you would go to the title screen, but we don't do that because of loading times. So, then we're going to just fall down here and talk to Trouser. This is going to take like 40 seconds. So I should explain a little bit more how that pause clipping trick works, and the inputs. So, right with the input, I'm holding the text dialog for this. I'm using the Pro controller. There's the Y button, and then there's the pause button. You could also do this with a roll, which is the move we're about to learn. It's going to be our fastest way of movement for this run. Not in longer runs, but this run. And basically, I'll explain the clip in a little bit in more detail. But we go up here, just roll up here. There's going to be a cutscene. Generally, what I do with the input, it's going to be hard to show it while I do it. So, like, I'll just... Hold on. So, like, I would do like that, but I would clip into something. So, like, I wish I had a controller cam, but the way I have this set up, I wouldn't be able to. But you'll generally want to... So, right now we're in jail, so we're going to want to get out. So what we're going to do is take the little space we do have and just, like, do that. Now, I should mention, if you're not comfortable with air attack clipping, you could also roll into it. I think air attack is the easiest way. Because if you just, like, if you notice, I pause shortly after I air attack and it gets me in. I think generally from the sides is easier, because if you do it from the middle, it's a little bit thicker. But enough with that clip. We're going to be clipping in a few other cages, so I could explain that one in more detail later. Right here, this page is going to tell us to enter the first world step on this, but we don't need the first world. We don't want to spend our page on that. So we're going to go up here and go over here. And I'm not going to do the jump right here, but generally we're going to want to air attack a little early. We're not going to clip into it, but we're going to clip far enough. So I won't be able to really explain that, but, like, because, you know, you get it and then you have it. But basically, it's hard to explain, but it's just the timing is a little bit earlier than you would expect. And you just want to do that as early as you would think, if you're not, like, colliding whatsoever before you pause it. One thing I should mention is you could, like, do, like, that sort of thing if you're more comfortable that way. And what I'm gonna do here is there's, like, generally this, like, from here to, like, here. You want to be, like, under this thing right here, and you want to be, like, from here to, like, here for the clip. You could do a roll clip. So, like, if I'm coming from here, you can, like, do that, and it'll be, like, a quick clip. But if you mess it up, like I did because I was trying to explain it, you can just jump out and clip in. And what this trick will essentially do is bring us to the second hub, even though it skips a quiz, and it skips our opportunity. It gives us the opportunity to get more pages and stuff, so that's pretty helpful. What we're going to do here, I should mention that this trick we're about to do, there's a couple ways to do it. Basically, we're going to want to jump out of the water without splashing. Which our first jump, we can't do that. But if you notice, we could jump out like this. But what I recommend for starting is do an air attack. Because, like, even if you do it in place, it's that easy. It's basically before you splash. This is why I recommend air attack. if you just like, if you just do this, you don't want to be too close. You just can just wait for it to bob up completely, and like you should be able to get up. But if you do it like this, you want to space out your jumps. So this right here, this is a pagey that if you go near it, it's gonna close. It'll be like I'm starving or whatever. Because apparently pages can eat. But yeah, so that will lock out. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to clip through this and turn left immediately after we get the clip. If you miss it, there's water underneath, so you can turn around and try it again, like this. But if you keep going forward, you could fall into the void, which I should have mentioned with the Waterworks clip. That if you fall, you're going to be falling forever, and you'll have to return to the main menu. So there's that pagey. Now time to get our 5th pagey, which we're going to do. You can do it from a roll, but I'm going to do an air attack. So you can do this air attack without pausing. But if you do it with pausing, it's like basically free. And here's what I should mention. You can clip through this glass, but for beginner's sake, I'm going to show you that you can like get this sound to go and then collect the pagey, and this cutscene will play and it'll open. And it'll bring you back down there. But if you want a really good time, you can clip out like that immediately after you're doing the pagey. Thing is, if you don't activate the sound before collecting the pagey, or before the pagey appears off screen, then the door will not open up. So you have to decide what's easier for you. Now, assuming that you've beaten the game before, this is where it comes into play. Once you beat the final boss, you get an ability called Athlete. This isn't required for the run, but it makes it a lot faster and easier. Because what we're going to get is we're going to get a move called Athlete. It says this tonic's a secret, but what it really just does is it gives us more stamina, which gives us more time to roll. So right here, Trousers is just going to teach us Glide. Not much to really say about it. It's just a glide move, standard glide. It lasts longer than you'd think, probably. And then tail twirl, double jump, air attack, glide. I feel like tap glide if it's easier. Now the fastest way is to do this. Not necessarily the fastest way, but let me show the easiest way. One way that's good is stopping the thing here, jumping on the. Oh, whoops. So if you fall down here, then let's go this way. You have to go back, so obviously you lose a lot of time. You'd want to jump up on this, air attack, double jump, glide, and if you don't make the cycle, then it'll go around. Like, I could have gotten it earlier when I was there, but I wanted to show that way. It'll come around. You just want to be in the right position and grab it. I could have rolled after it that one time, but I didn't feel it was necessary. Okay, actually, so we're going to do... We would jump out of that, and then when we're right here, we want to roll. Well, actually, okay. So you want to... You don't have to do it this way. This is like the fast way. Jump on that, jump on that, jump on this. So there's multiple things that we could jump on. We can jump on that, we can jump on that, we can jump on the green thing. There's many ways to get up here, but then you want to get up here so that you can do another jump to get this pagey that you would need Wizard Leap for. So now next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this slide. You're supposed to have a slurp state to have like honey to be sticky to go up here. There's a million different ways to do this slide. There's a way with roll that I don't really know, but it's like basically you basically do a thing. You can mash A and do that. That's one way of doing it. But the way I find easiest is air attack, tail twirl here, and basically hug the wall. So it'd be like this. And you could get it can turn out a bunch of different ways, but there's multiple ways to do that. So now we have Athlete, we have 8 pages. If you forgot to get Vendi, she's right here again because she teleported. So we want to get into this loading zone here. This can be a little difficult, and you want to glide after, because if you fall, you're going to go back to the main menu and end up back at Waterworks. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to like double jump here and air attack into it and then glide after we get it. And then we could glide to turn around to get it. Even if you're a little underneath, if you are on the black screen, it will work. So now that we've gotten that, we have 8 pages. The reason we're collecting pages in this run is because we want to get flight. That's pretty much the goal of this run versus any percent the goal is to get to the final boss. Flight makes the boss a lot easier, especially for the final phase, and you know, learning roll is nice. Movement. So this is like the 16 star of this game, is what I'd compare it to. So we're gonna roll to the left here. To the right of us was a door that'll be important later. Normally we need 100 pages to enter that, but we don't have time for that in this category. So here's another KG. You could roll clip into it like that. I recommend clipping from the side. The camera can be a little weird sometimes, but like you could roll clip into the side, and what I recommend is try to clip from the bottom for KGs, because you can clip like here, but I'm gonna see if I can try to explain why that's not the best. I'm doing it like too close. So if we're like this, you can grab it, and then like sometimes it'll make us somewhat stuck. But you know, you want to just do a pause clip to clip in and out to collect that page. Normally you'd have to do a really difficult slide that we wouldn't have the moves to do right now. But since that cage is conveniently there, we can get it. And I somehow canceled the text with capital B mocking me, which is pretty nice. It's the true strat. Alright, so coming up is what I like to call our get out of jail free card. So here's what we do. There's this thing right here. You could roll into it and get it, but you're going to want to get your stamina back anyways. So, like, I should mention when you get that clip, if you get it immediately, you have used some of your stamina, so you'll want to, like, air attack a little bit of the way there until it comes back. So, yeah, this one, for some reason, this is one of the few KGs that does this in the game. That one opens up. If we come back into this room, I'm pretty sure it's closed, but that one's generous and opens up for us. We got ourselves a get out of jail free card. And now we're going to head over to this way. Now, normally I would just tap glide and fall. I just wanted to give time to explain that. Now, normally to open that gate, we have to go in here and slam, but we don't have the buddy slam move. So what we have to do is a little bit more convoluted. If we're doing a longer category, and we don't, like the only category we need the invisible move that you learn in this hub is 100%. But because we can do a lot of clipping throughout stuff on console. But what we're gonna do is do this. And now that we have 10 pages, we can enter Cashino. Now I want to explain about that. I want to do the clip one more time in and out, because it takes a little bit to explain how it works, because that's one of the hardest clips in the run. Basically what you do, you go here, and I mean it's harder on the way out, but we'll show a thing. You glide after you get it, go back over here. So you notice there was a wall like right here, so you have to be close to the wall. And you'll want to anyways, because otherwise, see, it would push you, and you could almost fall that way. It's happened to me quite a few times at ending runs. So this loading zone takes a while. I should mention, if you want to get a really good time on Switch, you'll want to get this game on your Switch hard drive and not an SD card. Which the way you would do that is remove your SD card and reinstall the game. I don't know about other systems, even though I have the games on other systems. I haven't messed around with save data stuff for loading times, but loading times will be faster if it is on your main hard drive. And this game may not have the fastest loads, but the skip at the beginning saves like 20 seconds. So right here, there's a few things we could do. What I usually do is I roll first, and if I make that clip where you can clip through the door at the right timing, I would clip straight through. I could also do like this, but what I think is if I miss the roll clip, just go here, and once I'm on this, you want to get on the very center of the plant, right here. It's kind of hard to show. It's pretty precise because otherwise you'll slide off. It's like the very center. And then we'll jump, and then the door will open because the cameras can't see us from there. So there's a few things we could do here. I would normally go this way, but I want to show that the fastest way that only saves a few seconds, you can get up here and like get up to this, you know. Do a little bit of this. And that's one way to get up to the spot that you need to go up. If not, I'll go back to the spot where I would be going. This is the easier way. Because that way takes a little bit of practice. You go this way, take a right, and there will be a staircase coming up. So we'll go up this. Double jump glide, air attack, save some energy. And then we'll land on this, tail twirl before you jump, otherwise it might be a problem. Now what I should mention is we do not need any quills still, but if you collect one, keep in mind how many you have. We need to get 10 of these tokens, which 5 of these will be in this rolling area. If you get any quills, keep in mind how many you have in your count, because at the end you might be quizzed on how many you have based on RNG. So there's 5. And then you could like, okay, so I should mention, obviously you can be on this, you could roll on this. So that's like, once you get the thing, you could roll over. You could also like do a roll clip here. But what we want, oh, whoops. So if you fall, there's a few backups, but it takes too long and basically a reset. That's why you basically want to keep trying on that. What you want to do, you don't have to get that far, just okay. So this is like, you basically just got to get up to this thing again. Is essentially what it is. And if you get up to this, you can get to the window. As you can see, it's a slow backup, but it's a backup you can take. You want to clip through this window. You want to jump back, otherwise you won't have the distance. And what I'll mention is right here, if you don't do it fast, it'll become a case of RNG. So right here, there's all these enemies you see. If you get all of them fast... Yep, left behind. But if you get these guys who aren't paying attention pretty quick, but I didn't do it quick enough to get it done. But see, once you kill all of them, you can get these last tokens, and you need 10 tokens to get a pagey. The reason we're trying to get a pagey in here is that's when Charles will be like, oh, you actually did something in this world. So we're gonna clip back out when you could get a roll clip as well. Then we're gonna head over to a friendly banker. I don't know who he is, but he has a mustache that's pretty nice. And some pretty cool sunglasses. But this guy will give us a pagey because of us getting 10 tokens. There are other routes, like there's a route that way that I'm not going to cover because it's pretty complicated. Basically, you would go clip into that spot, that little like thing that's closed off to the right of the blue thing. You would clip into that, and there'd be a lot of clips. but that would be hard to do on a consistent. I don't even do it, and I'm a record holder as of now. So return to hub, and that's another route, but I would not recommend that route. So now that we have flight, or we don't have flight, now that we have the Pagey from Casino, we got to talk to Trouser. So he's like, "Oh, you're ready to go into the 5th world." So he's going to give us flight, even though this is technically the 4th world, and you know we haven't done anything in the first 3 worlds. We haven't even entered them. Which, like I said, you can't do this on PC. So I'm going to show 2 ways of doing this, because one way is pretty difficult, and the other way is easier and safer. So if you go over here, like right past this clover, whatever it's called, do that, glide, and as you see, you can be short if you don't glide fast enough like I did. That's where it's a little risky. But, we're going to have to go out of bounds out of here regardless, but it's either one of those clips that you did before or you land here. And that's why I'm going to do this clip first. The other way is pretty easy. So once I get this way out of the way. Yeah, we didn't jump high enough, I'm pretty sure. So you want to either land on that or the part higher than that. Ideally, like this is a risky thing to do in a run. I wouldn't recommend doing it until you got like at least a 23 time. But you could land here or down there. Now what's weird is there's actually ground right around here. And we could use that to get over here. And then use that to get over here. And where we are now is over on the opposite side of that gate where we would have learned invisibility. So I'm going to learn flight just so I can show the other way real quick. I mean, ideally, once you get that clip, you would just go straight to the next thing, but I'm going to show the other way, getting over there. So we're just going to die real quick. Actually, why don't we just put it? Well, no, it'll... So I should explain, that's the faster way, but it's the harder way. So that's a way you could take to get to Trouser faster to learn flight. Where you speed up his text and learn flight. And once you have that, you're pretty much ready to go to the final boss. But here's the other method, where you use to get over here. Do the same clip that you did to enter here. Roll this way. There was a method I did in my previous tutorial that's highly outdated, so I'm just going to show this one. What you want to do is just kind of roll through these enemies. You see, we don't have invisibility, so we can't just simply go through that gate. You can go up here to get the camera to change. Air attack. And once we get a little bit back in our energy, we can just roll through this. If you roll in a weird spot, you'll fall. Like if you jump, you could like fall and splat, so be careful of that. Be careful of just not falling off. And then you would just go this way to Trouser. If done right, the other strat saves like probably like 20 seconds. Okay, so this right here, this acid, as you saw, you take damage when touching. But what you don't know is it acts like water. So, and you can't see it right now, but you'll see how this wall, we could simply just pause clip through it. I think it's easier with this one actually. But the faster and easier way to do this, turn around, glide a little bit so you could turn around the camera, and then get up here. You are now out of bounds, and you could use flight. You can do this without flight, but I don't know why you would, because it's just really hard. So what we're going to have to do for glide is crouch, then press the Y button. It's the square button if you're on PlayStation, and it's the X button if you're on Xbox. So once you're here, you're going to want to buffer the input. So you're going to like crouch off the area and press it. So you're going to like do that, except like with a little bit more. So we have athletes, so we have plenty of energy to do this. We do that, We have plenty of energy. If you do not have athlete, this is going to be a bit more tricky of a trick. But like I said, if you grab that first butterfly, you'll have more attempts to do the acid clip, where you can, instead of just like jumping down like I did, you could also try an air attack if that doesn't work for you. But right now, this is the final boss door. So, not necessarily the final boss door, because we're going to get some RNG up in this run. I know this tutorial's already been going for like 30 minutes, but this is over a 20-minute run, so I think that's fine. So most of this I won't be stopping to explain because it's the quiz and the final boss. This quiz, I'm sure if you play the game, you know that if you answer something before the clock hits 5, it's a super quick answer. If you get a picture question, that loses 3 seconds because it has us look at the picture. So you know that's bad. What we could consider bad RNG if I was doing a run. And then, so the answers, other than the personal ones, are all on the internet. Like, they might ask how much time, just look at your timer. They might ask, how many pages do you have? That would be 11. If they ask how many you stole in ivory, that would be 10. So there's like some different answers. This is where he might ask you how many quills you have, and that could change based on if you accidentally collected quills in Casino. And that can also, he also might ask if you have any butterfly boosters, which is the thing that you could collect at the beginning to get extra health. Quiz doesn't take too long, and we're about to enter the final boss. Which is the final boss, other than learning how to pause clip, I think it's the second most important thing to learn in the run. Because, you know, he's obviously in every main category. This category, he's going to be a little harder than the longer categories, because although we have flight, we do not have slurp shot or buddy slam, which makes flight a little bit more awkward, and it also makes buddy slam it makes it harder to 2-cycle. So I'm sure I may be able to link, if the person I'm talking to approves of it, I'll link a version of the 2-cycle on this first thing, but it's really hard to 2-cycle. So you could 2-cycle this first phase, but it's really hard based on inputs. Just aim for at least 3-cycle when you first start. What you're going to do is you're going to roll around the room. If you're doing any percent, you won't have rolls, so it's going to be a little different. And then you're going to fall over. Right when his cane hits the ground, you want to like mash, and then after your second like attack thing hits, you'll want to mash the you want to hit the air attack button after the second time you're shoot. Like you said, like I'm not doing it right. When he puts his hand down, hit him. So like you saw the second one of the second combo is when I would be when I would want to air attack for 2-cycle. 2-cycle is really hard. I've only gotten it once in an any percent run, and that run died. And there's that. So first phase done. Normally, if you're doing a longer category, you'd have Sonar Explosion, just press that, then do it, or whatever. You'd have Buddy Slam, it'd be easier to 2-cycle. But that's for another day if I do a tutorial of that stuff for the longer categories. So right here, the first place he enters might be awkward, so you could air attack. You'll have to hit him 15 times, but you could do it with a roll. So just do that. You really just, the best way to explain it is you just gotta get in the rhythm, where when he shoots one, like, you want to save your energy. Oh, whoops. You want to save your energy. So, like, when he throws one, then you run into him. You don't want to unroll too early, or else it won't do damage and it'll just hit you. But this is why Athlete partially helps, is because we're getting these hits and we don't have to do it with air attack, which is a little slower. There is a fast way with air attack where you just keep going, but it's risky and you'll likely lose health. I still struggle with it. But when we run out of stamina, we're gonna have to do an air attack one regardless. So now that we're low on stamina, you're gonna wanna. I just wait for this one, even though you could go straight for him if you have a little bit extra. Like, you want to wait a little bit just because it gives you time to get your stamina back. So it's okay to wait for that one. You just keep rolling at him. You got to do it 15 times because normally this thing right here would have a that's an ammo bush that you would have flame shot for that you can shoot stuff at him from a distance. So this phase, all I could really say is just get in the rhythm of rolling into him right after he throws it. And when he stops, roll at him. That's really all there is to explain. And when you run out of stamina, just do the air attack thing. Now up here, coming to phase 3. This phase, it's really all about mashing and not taking damage. Because right here he's going to do shockwaves. On the 4th drop he's going to be invulnerable. So you want to just hit him, but you don't want to do it too fast because you might get hit if he falls on you. So wait for him to fall, then hit him. But each phase he's going to add something. So this one's going to be the bees. When the bees are here, you're likely to take damage. I'm going to show you the easier strat in this one. That usually loses time. After he does his 3rd one, just roll around the area. You could roll in circles, but this is the easiest way to avoid it. And then they're gone. That's the easiest way to not take damage from them, because if you get hit by the bees, if you don't go fast enough with the bees, they'll hit you. I'm going to show you the other strategy that I may fail in the final phase. But this phase, he's going to drop the bees for now, so you can try a different strategy. He's going to drop these like little honeycomb bombs, so there's more than one shockwave. What you generally want to do is the placements are a little bit of RNG. So you just want to get it so like he's in a place where all the shockwaves have basically almost passed by the time he falls on his 4th time. You don't want to be mashing when like there's one coming. And like I said, mash when his cane drops and touches the ground. If you mash there, you shouldn't have a problem. This is the last part of phase 3. There's basically 4 sub-phases, and now that the place is destroyed, he's going to be ready to do it. So what I do in any percent, since I don't have roll, okay, so like because I jumped there, I got hit. But it's possible to avoid that, but just a little bit of damage isn't too bad. Yeah, this is for a recording, Hedwig. I was going to ask you, do you mind me linking the 2-cycle video you made in this? Hedwig is the world record holder of any percent right now. And thank you, Marcy, for the hope your birthday's been good. So, right here, there's multiple ways to do this. This is the easiest way, I think. Air attack to the side, and double jump, glide straight past him when the missile's slightly behind you. You gotta do this 3 times this way, and then you'll have 4 more hits left in the run. So there's that hit. What I generally do, if I'm doing 90%, I would at least do that for a setup. But it doesn't matter too much. What you want to do, whatever way he's flying, usually you'll want to fly the opposite direction. And it looks like I hit him twice there, but I actually did not. That was pretty bad if I was doing a run, because you want 2 missiles to be out. So because every time there's not one out, he'll fire 2. So like, see, now that I hit him, he's not going to fire another because there's still one on the battlefield. So now we're on the final hit. He's going to shoot out 3. You're likely to be low on stamina. So what I'm going to explain is to do this, which this is the strategy you use for any percent. And what you could actually do... Oh, yeah, see, I air attacked him. So that's something you could do. I mean, even if you die, like you see I'm taking damage, even if you die while you beat the fight, as long as he makes that face, it's guaranteed to show a cutscene. There's a glitch that could show where there's 2 Dr. Quacks. But once he makes that face, it's time. Yeah, there's an 80% tutorial by Hedwig. 2 cycles commentated, so if you want to see the 2-cycle, I may link his 80% tutorial. I may make an 80% tutorial, but I'm not good at 2-cycle, so I'll probably wait for that. But that is 80% with flight. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or up above if YouTube, for some reason, ends up being dumb eventually and changes their layout again. but I imagine it'll always be down below. So thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day. And if you have any questions about the run, let me know, and I will try my best to help. We have a Yooka-Laylee Discord server. Like I said, you don't have to go through this cutscene as long as you show he got hit, the final hit. Like you could hit him with a missile, don't get me wrong, but the air attack's faster and it saves energy. So that last phase was a little awkward because we didn't have Buddy Slam. We have to awkwardly fall to the ground. But if you have any questions about the run, feel free to ask. And if you're unsure about asking in the comments, feel free to ask in the Yooka-Laylee Discord server, which you could find on the resources on the Yooka-Laylee speedrun page, speedrun.com/YL. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you all for watching. Okay, so that's tutorial.